Good day, good day. I hope you're all blessed and balanced. My name is Sae'Von, and I want to thank you personally for making the time to be here with us today. Now, this is Crypto 101, and it is designed to be a functional starter guide to blockchain and cryptocurrencies. What we're going to go through here, once we're done, you will be in the top tier of individuals in the sense of knowing how to navigate the crypto and blockchain space. Now, it is not an exhaustive walkthrough or starter guide, but rather serves to be the base foundation upon which everything else builds. If you understand the concepts laid out here, you can thrive inside of this blockchain and digital asset space. So without further ado, let's go ahead, let's get into it. So first and foremost, we must understand that not all cryptos are the same, even though they're often referred to by the same name, cryptocurrencies, when in reality, it would likely be more accurate to refer to them as digital assets. So effectively, you have coins and you have tokens. So what are the difference? Well, with coins, these are native to their own blockchain, whereas tokens are chain flexible. So to give you an idea, you have Bitcoin and Ethereum both have their own blockchains. But you have other tokens such as Mana for Decentraland or even Matic for Polygon that can actually work on top of the Ethereum blockchain. Now, another difference is coins typically have much greater legal clarity, whereas tokens often are in a bit of an ambiguous position from a legal framework, particularly from the Howey test assessment. Now, the other difference is the use case. Now, tokens are usually used to give access or to signify a status or provide a perk. Point in case, you take a coin or a token such as Mana for Decentraland. You can use Mana to buy assets within the metaverse, and that serves to give you a bit of access to that commerce inside of the metaverse. Whereas with coins, these are typically used to transfer value, to pay for fees, and to reward those holders. So Bitcoin transfers value. That might be its greatest use case, or storing value. But we take something like Ethereum, which can also transfer value, but whenever you make a transaction on top of the Ethereum blockchain, whether it is for Ethereum or a different token on top of Ethereum, you have to use ETH to pay the gas fees. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that these coins or tokens are typically going to be native to a specific blockchain. So Bitcoin is specific to the Bitcoin blockchain. Ethereum is specific to the Ethereum blockchain, or ETH being specific to the Ethereum blockchain. And then you take something like Polygon's Matic, and even though it exists on top of Ethereum as an ERC20 token, it also exists on its own network, the Polygon network. So that takes us to exchanges. Now, this is very, very important because you are going to need to interact with an exchange to buy, sell, or trade any of these digital assets. The same way that somebody might use a broker to get into stocks or options or different derivatives, you need to use an exchange to be able to buy, sell, and trade these digital assets. So, the first and perhaps easiest way to buy any digital asset, specifically Bitcoin, is through Cash App. Now, the pros of Cash App is that once you buy your Bitcoin through Cash App, you actually control those keys. The moment you buy it, you can send it off to a different exchange or to a different wallet. Nobody's going to stop you. So that's one of the pros. The other aspect is it is very, very quick to get up and running. Odds are, if you're watching this, you likely have a Cash App account, or you're in a position where you could create one in a few minutes. That being the case, you can get up and running, and then once you've made the account, it's very simple to actually start to buy and sell Bitcoin. And the other advantage is that it allows you to dollar cost average. So what that means is you can actually set a recurring purchase of Bitcoin, whether it be daily, weekly, monthly, set that amount, and it'll happen for you automatically. Now, the cons Well, main one being that on Cash App, as it stands right now, you can only buy and sell Bitcoin. So Ethereum, Dogecoin, Matic, AMP, you can't access any of those digital assets on Cash App at this moment. Now, the other con is that as far as an exchange goes, you can only place market buys, right? Market orders. So there's no limit orders, there's no stop orders, there's no trailing stop losses. All you can do is execute a market purchase. Now, if you don't want to use Cash App necessarily, there are similar apps in terms of their ease of use, but they're also going to have some similar pros and cons. And that would include things like Revolut, PayPal, Venmo, and Robinhood. But do keep in mind, some of those don't allow you private key access, which I think is one of the utmost important things when deciding an exchange to use. Now, next on the list, in terms of what is more robust, would be Coinbase, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. Now, the pros, it allows for a wide selection of cryptos. It allows you to put in advanced order types, and you can fund it through various methods, whether that be through a debit card, credit card, ACH, wire transfer, a lot of options. Now, the cons, there can be very, very high spreads. It's no secret that a lot of times when digital assets are trading, you're often going to pay a higher price on Coinbase. Now, that's only a problem if you're buying on Coinbase, but if you buy somewhere else, you can actually use that to your advantage and create a bit of an arbitrage opportunity and sell it on Coinbase where it's going to be higher, but just be careful to make sure that those fees don't negate that whole arbitrage opportunity. Now, the other con is that historically Coinbase has had poor customer support or lackluster customer support. Now, similar options would be something such as Kraken, Gemini, Huobi, KuCoin, or Binance. Now, just so you can see, if you're watching this video, this is what Coinbase looks like. And inside of it, you can see, you can take a look at your portfolio, as well as trade. Oh, and it signed me out. Ah, man, timed out. But anyhow, that is Coinbase, okay? Now, the next category is what is known as a DEX, or a decentralized exchange. Now, the purpose of a decentralized exchange is to make it so that there is no trusted third party or controlling entity that monitors, watches all the trades, and can intervene, right? So you don't have to KYC on these platforms, but also there is no central party to go through if there is an issue for some reason. So pros of it, you get to self-custody. So once again, you control all your keys. The second pro is that it is very quick. Literally, it serves effectively a single purpose, is to exchange one digital asset for a different one. Now, the other benefit here is that you can do all of this in a trustless manner, in a trustless fashion. Okay, so you don't need to trust Coinbase or their servers to be active or up during a volatile moment in the market. The protocol in and of itself, the way it is designed, it is distributed, so odds are it will be up no matter what. Now, the cons here are that oftentimes the gas fees are going to be a bit higher than what people are going to be used to on a centralized exchange. In some instances, centralized exchanges, they skip the fees entirely. They eat that cost and the user never sees it, other than partially maybe higher spreads. And then the only other con I could say is that it requires you to use an additional step by integrating or connecting rather a Web3 wallet like MetaMask or something similar. Okay. Now, similar DEXs would include something like SushiSwap, 1inch Exchange, QuickSwap, or even Changely, even though it's a little bit different. Now, for context, this here is what Uniswap looks like when you code to the main page. So if you see this, you know you're in the right place, but always check the URL, which is uniswap.org. And then what you do is you click Use Uniswap. It'll open another tab or another window, and then you actually get access to the protocol itself. And when you land, it's just going to give you an option to swap. Okay, and so in that, let's say you had Ethereum, and then you wanted to exchange it for 1inch token, then you would choose that. You would specify how much Ethereum you want to exchange, and then it would tell you how much 1-inch token you would get. You connect your wallet, you hit swap, and then the deed is done. Now, let's talk about dollar cost averaging. Now, this is a very, very powerful concept, not just in blockchain and cryptocurrencies, but in the broader investment context as a whole. Now, the benefit of dollar cost averaging is several fold. Now, to start with, you're likely to get a much better average price. Reason being, let's just say that over the course of a year, you were investing into Ethereum or Bitcoin, right? Well, if you went all in, and let's say you had $1,000 to put in and you put it all in on one day, right? Doesn't matter the day, but let's say that Ethereum was $1,000 that day. Okay, so you got yourself one whole Ethereum. Well, let's say a week or 2 weeks later, the market retraced, had a correction, and now that same Ethereum, instead of $1,000, is $500. Well, I'm sure you would have preferred to put that $1,000 in on the day that it was $500 per Ethereum and not $1,000. But let's just take it further. Let's say a month from then, it was trading at $2,000. Well, if that was the case, you'd probably feel pretty good, regardless, that you got in at $1,000. Point being, if you dollar cost average, and let's say you split that $1,000 up into 3 separate equal payments or investments, you put a third in at $1,000, you put a third in at $500, and you put a third in at $2,000, where you're actually going to capture the average of all of those prices. And over an extended period of time, most people will have a much better cost basis or much better average entry price into any asset if they regularly invest in it, no matter what the price is. Now, the second benefit is it allows you to automatically invest and set you up for better long-term consistency. Because of market volatility, it can be difficult for some people to maintain their focus or their plan to invest into an asset. Because as long as the market is going up, one can be very excited about investing in it. But oftentimes, the moment there's a substantial change and a decline in the value of an asset, it becomes much more difficult to continue to pour and invest into it. So, by automatically having those payments made to invest in that asset, it can keep somebody on the path that they originally set out on. And the other benefit is fixed budgeting. Because sometimes, whether it be fear of missing out, or it's some other emotional reaction, or even a logical one, people can go all in on an asset at one time and maybe invest more than they could afford to actually invest. And when one dollar cost averages, it actually puts you in a much better position to consistently add what is within your budget to your investment instead of blowing that budget because you got a little bit excited about the opportunity. So it can keep you on track in that sense as well. Now, if we look right here, Gemini, and there are many exchanges that will allow you to dollar cost average. And you can see you can do it with Gemini. You can do it with Coinbase if you so choose. You can also do it on Cash App. So for the most part, as long as you're using a moderately robust exchange, you should be able to dollar cost average with it.